Welcome to Careers in Discovery, your window into the world of biotech leaders. On each episode, we interview the industry's leading executives to understand how they built their careers, what they've learned along the way, and the advice they'd give to their younger selves. From her own childhood hospital bed to the founding of her own biotech company, Ulrika Norin's journey in drug discovery has been anything but conventional. In this captivating episode of Careers in Discovery, we speak with the founder and CEO of Serendo Therapeutics about her mission to transform treatment for autoimmune diseases, starting with a breakthrough she made during her PhD. If you want to know what it really takes to spin out an idea into a company, to balance burning passion with extreme pressure, and to lead with authenticity, then stay tuned for the rest of this conversation.
So welcome back to Careers in Discovery. Today I'm joined by Ulrika Norin, founder from Serendo Therapeutics. Welcome, Ulrika.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
I'm very excited because you've been through some recent changes. So tell us a little bit about your new role as founder and Serendo.
Yes, so I recently founded Serendo Therapeutics, where we are pioneering Endothelin A2 based drugs for the treatment of autoimmune disorders. And Serendo is really a spin-off from my work during my PhD and postdoc studies at Karolinska, where I discovered this new gene, Endothelin A2, as a key regulator of the development of autoimmunity. And what's really special and exciting about the A2 is that it regulates the activation of the immune cells that actually drives the disease, so the B and T cells, while not actually causing any immune suppression, which is quite common with the current treatment alternatives for these patients. So by focusing on the drivers of autoimmunity and the underlying cause of disease, we actually have the potential to inhibit its progression. And with Serendo, then, we aim to provide a solution with the potential of achieving long-term remission without significant adverse effects. And we're really excited because if this is successful, it could be a real transformative therapeutic options for these patients suffering from autoimmunity.
So exciting. And you mentioned there this is work carrying on from your PhD. If I'm right in thinking, you completed your PhD 5 years ago. It's been a labour of love. Yeah.
No, it's been a long time coming for sure. And that project actually started during my master thesis when I was working alongside a really great scientist called Karolinska, and later got the opportunity to take over the project from her, actually, and develop it until the founding of Serendo Therapeutics, which is really exciting. Yeah.
Very, very exciting. So let's go back a bit. Let's talk about how you decided on a career in science, particularly within drug discovery.
I think my interest in drug discovery actually started really early. So I got meningitis when I was about 10 years old and was actually hospitalized for it. Right. And somewhere around that time, I decided that I would make a drug that would help people. Like a really naive thought from a 10-year-old.
But it isn't though. Look at what you're doing now.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it sprung out of my sort of disappointment of the inefficient drugs that I was giving. I don't know. But it's actually still one of the main drivers for me is when I see patients and I just think, how is this the best option we have to treat this disease or condition? It really sprung out of that. So when it was time for,
You're going, I was going to say, so from being 10 years old and being in hospital and deciding on your career from your bed, how did you transform that kind of desire from the hospital bed into your studies?
Well, I've always had an interest in science. And so when it was time to sort of choose what to do with my university studies, I applied for the molecular biology program at Lund University, really with the aim of understanding, the mechanisms behind how the body works. It's always been a great interest of mine. So I think that's where it all started, actually.
Yeah. And then go on. Sorry, what were you going to say?
No, go say.
And then if we move from your studies into talk me through your career story and the points that have been most formative for you.
Well, there's been so many transformational sort of points in my career, but you don't really realize it when you're in it. You just see it sort of in hindsight. But I think one of the sort of things that happened was that I really fell in love with immunology and this amazing thing that your immune system is, which is really great. And then looking for a place where I can do my master thesis, I found Professor Ulrika Norin's group that was working on understanding really like the underlying cause of why some people develop autoimmunity and some don't. And really having in his lab, I think, has been really a great help for me, having this sort of also entrepreneurial mindset and giving us the freedom to actually explore potentials of scientific projects into actually products and innovations. So I think that has been really a really profound sort of impact on my career.
Yeah. And then when you're moving from academia and you're moving out into industry, talk me through those steps and how that felt for you.
Well, I would say it was quite natural, actually, because I always had this desire to actually make something out of the scientific findings. So I always looked for the application of the scientific finding and not, digging into the science itself, but more really how you can use it to help people. So during my PhD studies, I took all these courses that were available via the incubator program at Karolinska, dealing with entrepreneurship and innovations and how you patent things, and then got the opportunity to actually work together with Lars Öhman and his team at Immunescape, sort of transitionally segueing my way into industry.
And what skills do you think you learned from working with the incubator program?
I think really the business aspect of it, how to sort of sell your product in a commercial product type of way. I think that was the main learning, and also just to be connected. Their network is amazing, to be connected with these experts in drug discovery, and I got to work with SciLife Lab and their drug discovery platform at Karolinska, for instance. So they're really a crucial, actually, sort of safe place where scientists can transition to innovators in a more lean and efficient way, I think. Yeah,
it's interesting. We've interviewed a couple of CEOs from Karolinska, and that's a common a theme from people that who have been part of that program. I feel that in the UK there's a much wider split between the academic industry and the life sciences industry, with academia being very research focused in the UK, whereas Sweden seemed to be really trying to create the leaders of new businesses, and that's starting within academia.
Yeah, and that actually goes back to the government's sort of initiative to have scientific findings being made into innovations. So it's actually one of the sort of value pillars that universities in Sweden should work towards. So I think that has a big part of it.
Yeah. And it's doing an amazing job.
Yeah.
When we look at the funding, not just even in Sweden, but in the Nordics, it's developed a lot over the last 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely. There are some great innovators here in Sweden, and it's created a sort of a safe space to actually go and try things, try new things. So
yeah. Let's talk a little bit about from your career, your step from being a scientist into being the CEO at Omnio. I'm really keen to explore that and how moving from a scientist into your first CEO role, the mindset and the skills sets that you needed to develop to make that a success.
Yeah, I think what I really brought from academia was this project management skills that is often, not looked upon as an actual thing, but it's a very important thing, and how you collaborate in teams and how you coordinate projects. So I had a lot of experience in that actually from academia and my work during my PhD and postdoc studies, where I coordinated international sort of teams. So that definitely helped me in the transition from a scientist to a CEO, because it's really, a lot of focus on just like project management and getting things done. Yeah. Then, of course, there's other aspects of being a CEO. You have a huge responsibility towards, partners and the shareholders, and also your board to actually deliver on milestones.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Creating a whole other pressure.
And how do you manage that pressure?
Well, it was a tough start, I have to say. I really did take a lot of things to heart in the beginning. I've gotten better at at not taking things personal, and it's just business, But it was definitely something that I struggled with in the beginning, I would have to say. Yeah. And also that you all of a sudden become this very public figure, It's you're actually representing, a company, and so all of a sudden you're more aware of exactly. You're more aware of what you say.
Nowhere to hide.
Nowhere to hide. No.
I know from previous conversations that we've had that you've talked a little bit about how important that sort of C network is, and finding mentors and people that believe in you.
Yeah.
Where do people get started with that?
I think just, being out there, going to events, being open, just strike up conversations with people. It's amazing what people, will share and help you with, and really, just finding that thing that binds you together, sort of, or that you have in common, that you can share and discuss, and also this understanding that you're not alone with all your struggles is really important, especially as a first-time CEO. You think that, is it only me? Am I the one, doing this wrong, or is it, But then you really start talking to people, and you realize everyone is in the same boat and have the same issues, sort of, just at different scales sometimes.
Yeah. And in it, even alone, that's reassuring to know, isn't it? But then sharing ideas and learning from each other.
Yeah. So I think that's really super important. And there are lots of CEO networks that you can apply to, actually. Or just, networks within your area of interest.
Yeah. One of the areas that I think that is perhaps it's definitely a huge responsibility as a CEO. It's, like you mentioned, the board, the talking to investors, the raising funds. What advice would you have to people who are taking on those responsibilities for the first time?
Get a partner, I think, someone you trust that you can sort of share your struggles with. I think that's the most important thing, actually. Someone you can sort of, that's either been in your shoes or is in your shoes, but in a different setting. So you don't take on that, full burden yourself, because it can be quite daunting and very stressful, actually, especially in fundraising times. It's extremely stressful.
Yeah. So if you were thinking about your career and the lessons that you've learnt, what have been the keys?
I think what I am still struggling with, but I think I've become better at, is actually to not take things so seriously or personal. I think that to really create that distance between yourself and the job, you're not your job, sort of. I think it helps you a lot, especially in times of, in stressful times. I think that's one of the key learnings I have, and how important actually networking is. It's really, your network is really key to if you will be successful or not, and that can be all sorts of connections. Actually, it can be the scientists you work with. It can be people you meet at meetings. Just like, every person is an opportunity to learn something new. I think that's really really key.
Have you had the opportunity to do any mentoring?
I did do that during my PhD and postdoc studies. I did mentor new PhDs and postdocs coming into the lab, and it's really a lot of fun, and it's great when you see people grow and they go on to do their own things.
And I hear a lot of people when they're talking about mentoring, about that being a two-way learning process.
Absolutely. Like I can look back at our discussions, with some of my mentees now, and go like, oh yeah, that was I really learned something from that, and this helped me in my future sort of communication or understanding. So definitely, it's a two-way street there.
And I think that's important for people to remember when they're looking for mentors or they're asking people to support them, that to not forget that the person mentoring them gains a lot from that opportunity as well. Yeah.
I still have problems with that, actually, asking for help and tips. And because, you know that people are super busy, and that, it means a lot when someone takes time out of their busy schedule to engage with you. So, but, and it's good to remember. It's a two-way street.
Yeah. And you talked a little bit earlier about the importance of when people put their trust in you, and when has that happened throughout your career?
Well, initially it was really my PI, Richard Honda, that sort of trusted me or let me, go out and start this first-in-class drug discovery program, for instance, around Endothelin A2, and letting me sort of do my thing and explore that. I think that has really, helped me a lot. And I don't think I appreciated it enough at the time, but now I sort of, have a better understanding of how that has helped me in my career. But then also, having met Lars Öhman, he's a mentor for me and really trusted me and was the one that gave me the opportunity to lead Omnio, actually, and my first CEO role.
Yeah. So whenever we're having moments of that imposter syndrome, it's important to reflect back and remember those times, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And it's also, sometimes it's the trust that you get from other people that really, gives you the courage to take that leap. So it's very important to have these supporters in your corner.
Yeah. So we've talked a little bit about lessons and critical things that have been supportive to your career journey. If you were to pick one piece of advice to give to scientists early in their career, or perhaps those finishing their postdoc, what would that one piece of advice be?
I think there's no one way of doing things. If you can motivate why you want to go a certain direction or why you did a certain thing, I think it's all good. There's not one straight line. When you hear people's sort of career path, it's never a straight line. And it can be very stressful sometimes, actually, when you think about, you need to do this and this and this, but you really don't. You always have a chance to sort of reset and go back or learn something new or change directions.
Yeah, really important advice. And sometimes you have to try things to know whether it meets your passions and whether it meets your ultimate goals, don't you?
Exactly. You need to try because, you might have one sort of idea of this is what I want to do or this is what I like. And then you try it and it's like, ooh, this is not what I wanted. And I don't feel passionate about this at all. Yeah. So, no, you definitely need to try things. And it's okay to try and fail, It's really, everything is a learning experience. I think if you look at it in that sort of lens, it's easier to take that leap and just follow sort of your gut feeling and what you like and what you don't like.
Yeah. And not to put yourself under the pressure, like you said, to go with your gut and time will tell if it was the right path.
Yeah. I've always hated, this. So where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I just go like, I don't know what I like in 5 years. Maybe I change completely, You have this like frame of this is what I sort of like, but you never know,
Yes.
And
being like open-minded, like you said, to realise that it's going to go up and down and left and right, and particularly within science, because science is always risky. And so you need to be adaptable, don't you?
Yeah, and things can fail for like a million reasons, and completely out of your control. So, really, again, don't take things too personal. It's easy to beat yourself up.
Yes, far too easy. So talk to me a little bit about what's next.
Yes.
Great new project to start the year off, great new company.
Yes, I'm actually really excited about, finally having the guts to start my own company. And it really took the experience that I bring from Omnio to sort of realize that I can do this and let's give it a try. Go big or go home. So I'm really excited to get started with Serendo. We will now raise funds to continue on and accelerate the drug discovery program that was initiated during my time at Karolinska, and really, make some good progress for and hopefully develop a solution for people suffering from autoimmune diseases.
Yeah, and What does this new role as a founder look like? How will it differ from your time at Omnio?
I think it's really scary because at Omnio you were still, it was, well, first of all, it was someone else's sort of pet project and an idea to start with, and now it's all me and my ideas, and and so if it fails, I
if
would
it fails,
fail
it
also,
fails. No,
yeah,
no,
exactly.
you don't.
Exactly. But that's the sort of feeling. I know it's not like that, but so it's a little bit scary, but it's also super exciting to run things and try things at your own sort of initiatives. Yeah.
There's no one that's going to be more passionate about your baby as you, right?
No, yeah, exactly.
Oh, it's so exciting, and I can't wait to, hopefully fundraising goes really well.
Yes, thank you.
I will be watching this space for all the developments.
Yeah, thank you. No. It's super exciting. It'll be good.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Emma. It's a pleasure to be here. And if anyone wants to reach out, please reach out. I'm always happy to talk.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the episode, please like and subscribe and share it with someone else you think will benefit. And for more podcasts, videos, blogs and insights, come follow me, Tom Froggatt, on LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, Medium or TikTok. See you next time.